It's spinning. We're going. It's live. Money Moves back with another weekly adventure in finance and personal finance in your journey to wealth. Welcome my co-host, Wendy Lee. Hi, Wendy.
Hey, hey.
I'm excited to be back. We've got a brand new year. Good stuff happening. Hopefully good stuff's happening to you as well. But today we're going to be talking about banks and credit unions and all of the above. And should you be interviewing them? Is there a perfect one out there? What do you do, right? Most people, when they think about their bank, they just put money in the local office or branch and just whatever. That's good, right? We'll call it good. And you could be messing or I guess gypping yourself, screwing yourself out of money. We're going to talk about that today and why it's important that you look around and see what's out there. And we're going to talk about some alternatives for you. But first, do us a favor. Click that little subscribe button. Show some love. We're trying to spread financial knowledge so you can use that to, in turn, build wealth for you and your families. And that's what we do here on Money Moves. So we're going to get started with some more information you can use in just a few minutes. Seconds. Yeah, seconds. And we're back. So let's talk banks, shall we?
Yes.
Well, who do you bank? What do you think? Am I crazy? Because I'm not a bank fan, and I spent a lot of years in banking, and I'm not a fan of banks. But I found something I'm like, okay. But what's been your experience with banks?
Now I have a bank I love, but I have historically hated banks. I went from can we name names, right? Who cares, right? Like the Bank of America, Regions, what was it, SunTrust. I don't know what it is, but I've always had issues with banks. Like with, for instance, when I adopted kids and one of them I wanted to get a checking account for. The torture I went through to try and get him an account, and then they closed it because they didn't think he was a citizen, even though I provided all the paperwork that said he was a citizen. To overdraft fees in the past that for something that was an error of somebody else and it taking weeks and weeks and weeks to get my money back. Just banks are annoying in the past historically.
And that's the thing too. Like banks, traditionally they provide a service, right? And it used to be back in the day with Nana and Papa, the local bank, they would know your name, and it was a small community bank, right?
Yeah.
Well, over the years, through consolidations and closures and acquisitions and things like that, you've got the big banks out there, Bank of America, Regions, Chase, and things like that. And I've had accounts at several of those. And they're good people. Don't get me wrong. The employees are good people, but it's like they've lost sight of who they're there for, the customer, right? The customer is always right. And so several years ago, I mean, we're going on 15, 20 years ago, somebody introduced me to the credit union concept. And I thought credit unions were small little locations that a business would use, like only the employees could join or something like that, or only, military or whatever. And that's not the case anymore. A lot of credit unions, they're membership driven. So the customers, if you will, are actually members, not customers. And it's a totally different mindset on how they look at it. So I love credit unions for that very reason. Typically their rates are better. Their fees are, a lot better. Cause that was one thing about banks too. I mean, always, if you were like on your credit card or whatever, if you were one day late, I mean, they're hitting you with like $30, $40, $50 in fees and stuff like that. And it's just like, give me a break. I've been a client for how long? And sometimes they'll waive the fees, and you've got to have minimum account balances, or they're charging you fees. And I mean, it's just like fees upon fees upon fees. And it's just like, most people out in middle America, man, we're trying to get by, right? It's like, what do you do? So that's where, credit unions, I'm a big fan of. And I'm sure if you look around, you've got a credit union. For the viewers out there, you've got a credit union that is in your area that, talk to them and see, what you need to do to get an account, if it would be worth it to you. But that's one of the things I wanted to bring up. You should be interviewing your banks. like asking them,
Mhm.
what are the fees involved? What are the minimum balances required? Do you offer, what are your average loan rates, as far as an auto loan or something? If I want to come to you for an auto loan, what would that look like? Things like that. Don't just take the bank that's easiest for you. And I know one of
Yeah.
the things that I was hung up on with credit unions was, well, my ATM won't be good. Well, that's all gone anymore. That's ATMs or ATMs or ATMs, right? You can use whatever,
Right.
wherever. There may be a fee involved or, something, but, I know in my credit union's case, they reimburse it, but, you know, that was my divorce, if you will, from the bank world of
Right.
bank. I went to the world of credit unions, but I don't know. I found this bank that, and I mentioned it to you, and I've been thoroughly impressed. I don't have an account with them, but I use them for other services, and I've
Mhm.
been absolutely thoroughly impressed. And I'm going to name the bank, and I'm just going to be clear with everybody. I don't have any kind of relationship financially with them. I don't get any money for this. I don't have any kind of affiliate link or whatever. But this bank has blown me away with their level of customer service and what they're doing for the clients, and that is Capital One Bank.
Yeah.
And you've heard of Capital One, I'm
So,
assuming.
well, that's the first bank I've enjoyed. I actually joined Capital One, got accounts with them in 2019, I think, or
Mhm.
2020.
Yeah,
Um, actually was with a private bank before. I was going to say that. That's the one bank I did love. It was a private bank, but their fees were very high. But
yeah,
you got incredible customer service.
yeah.
But yeah, I love Capital One. I've been with them, for several years now. I have a Capital One credit card that I use and pay off each month. And then I love it, which, we teach the TPG money split system,
Mhm.
right? And so I have that in my business accounts at a business bank separate. But then when it comes to my personal, I have Capital One. They don't charge you a fee and they don't have minimum balances on their savings or the checking accounts. And
I
so
love
I
it.
have 6 different accounts with them.
Yeah.
And I see them all in one portal, and it's easy to move money around. I have my car loan with them, so it's easy to pay my car loan, and my credit card. So I actually, all in all, have 8 accounts with Capital One, and
Wow.
I have
Wow.
never been disappointed.
Yeah, that's
Never.
one of the things too. I mean, I've been, I have had a Capital One credit card for, man, going on probably 20 years. And that's all
Mhm.
Samuel L. Jackson is a great spokesman, great actor. Let's just be honest, right? And so when he said, "What's in your wallet?" I'm like, I want to be like Samuel. So anyway, I've had a Capital One. I'm kidding, but I had a Capital One credit card. Still have it. Still use it.
Mhm.
Pay it off. None of the points cards or whatever. It's just a straight credit card. Fantastic interest rate. But I started using CreditWise, which is
Mhm.
like their version of Credit Karma or whatever.
Mhm.
Kind of it guided me to get my credit score, where I wanted it. And now I'm north of 820. And it's all because of following the app that they have and stuff like that. It's called CreditWise. Again, I'm not an affiliate or whatever. And then I've also had a car loan with them, a great rate. But one of the things that really kind of put me over the top with them and really kind of suggest to you, we need to talk to people about this bank. They have an app. I don't know how it works or whatever, but you can put it on Google. It's like an attachment or something like that. I forget what they call
Google
those.
Chrome extension. Yeah.
Extension. Thank you. It's a Chrome
Yeah.
extension. And literally, I'm getting ready to buy ink from a national shipper. I'll just say that, a big company that And the ink's always expensive, right, for my printer. And all of a sudden, this little alert popped up. Would you like to find a better price? And listen to all these different companies. I literally ended up going to another, stationery store, right? And it's a big box store as well. Paid half the price.
Yeah.
So literally, they saved me like $35 out of the gate, and I'm like, this is crazy, man. And so,
Mhm.
that's why I was kind of like, and that's one of the things, for you, the viewers, don't just assume that you've got to pay whatever's in front of you, right? Your money, you work
Mhm.
so hard for your money, right? We want to make sure that you're spending it in the right places and things like that. So that's what this Money Move show is all about, right? We show you how to make more, we show you how to save more of it, we show you how to grow more of it, protect it. And I think this would kind of fall under the protecting category of
Yeah.
not just paying it for convenience or things like that. And they make it so easy with that extension to save money.
Mhm.
It's crazy. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
that I don't know. Have you ever used that extension?
Yeah, I have it, and it always tells you if there's a better price, and also, like, if it's a website that has coupon codes, it'll
Mhm.
say, "Hey, we have 7 different codes we can try here," and it just automatically tries them. I
Yep.
I literally save money everywhere that I shop online because of that extension, always.
No, and yeah, it's great. I've done that too before. And like I said, I mean, so you look at that, what that bank brings to the table. I mean, I was with another big bank here in the US, and I'll just leave it at that. But I got no help from them on anything other than
Yeah.
fees. And it was like, just a cold, just not fun experience. And so that's when I switched over to credit unions,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
I love credit unions. I walk in, they know my name, and I still love credit unions, right? I've got accounts
Yeah.
with credit unions, but I also like to have accounts in bigger banks and things
Mhm,
like that, and kind of spread it around a little bit. And so I don't have a Capital One account yet, but I think I'm going to open one because of
mm,
that. Just because, I mean, they're trying to help you save money, right?
mhm.
They're not overcharging you on fees, and they're a for-profit business. I get it; they need to make money too, and I'm okay with that. But not for every little nickel and dime, right?
Right.
And they're giving you great rates on auto loans and things like that. That's up to you with your credit, but they
Mhm,
also help you with that with their CreditWise app on helping you get better credit. So
mhm.
it's not just wagging their finger at you and telling you come back later. They're showing you how to do it. So I'm just,
Yeah,
again, I don't know if it's because Samuel L.
yeah.
Jackson's involved or what, but
2 other things that they have that I think are really cool, they'll actually have courses, to help you improve your credit or to help you learn how to budget, so they offer free courses to their clients, and
wow,
then I recently opened a high yield savings account with them. They have a 4.5% high yield savings account, so
not a
that's my
CD on
new
a savings
emergency
account.
fund on a savings account. Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
So
getting more interest. It's still only a couple bucks, right? But it's like, "Oh, wow, I'm getting, like, real
it's better
interest."
than point oh nothing that most banks
Exactly.
pay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, but so folks, again, we're not trying to get paid or hyped up by Capital One, but I just,
Mm,
again, Wendy and I kind of talked about this before we jumped on, and it's like
mm,
I shared my experience, she shared her experience. Like, it's one of those things that people need to know about. Not that it's
yeah.
the right bank for you if you're not comfortable with virtual banking. I mean, I know they have physical locations in the Northeast and whatnot, but I mean, they serve nationwide. And most people, especially, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, are comfortable with online banking.
Mhm.
It's just, so far I've been impressed beyond.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so,
and they have a lot of, like, I had to send in, it was payroll for our company. I had to send in, like, I don't do checks, and it said avoided check or a letter from your bank. And
mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, great. I have a virtual bank, Capital One. How am I gonna?" Well, they have where you can just print out a letter. It's like built into it. You can just go to the services, account services, print out a letter. It's right there ready for you. Yeah, they've kind of thought of everything. I've been really impressed. And if you ever have a dispute, they handle it quickly. Like, just, yeah, it's a really good bank for that online option, I will say.
There you
So,
go,
and helps
folks.
you save money. That's what it's all about, right? We want to
Yep.
help put more money back in people's pockets. So,
There you go. So, is there a perfect bank out there? I don't know. I thought I found it with credit unions, but who knows? Capital One Bank may be yours. I would definitely invite you to check them out and see if
yeah,
it's the right fit for you. If it's not, no big deal. But I've been thoroughly impressed, and it sounds like you have too, Wendy. So.
yep, yep,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, folks, that was kind of a light money moves today, but I think a very important and a critical one. And you should be interviewing your bank, whether you choose Capital One or not, or any bank. Don't just accept services. Don't just say, okay. When somebody hands you an invoice, don't just say, is that, ask them, is there any room on this? Again, you work hard for your money. You want to make sure you're keeping as much as possible to put back for your future you and your future life through, building wealth and things like that. If you need help with that, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you. Everybody mention Money Moves, and you'll get a free financial plan from our sponsor group, Turning Point Company, Turning Point Group, and we'll be more than happy to put you in touch with them. So everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next Tuesday on another Money Moves. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.